Administrator and New Orleans native Lisa Jackson is back home taking part in a series of events to commemorate this 5th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Actually, the anniversary is Sunday.
Although more associated with the BP oil spill, Administrator Jackson was personally affected by the storm and is also professionally affected in the ongoing recovery. And she joins us now to talk about some of the events going on that she'll be participating in. And thank you very much for joining us. This is a very special day for you, and I imagine that you will never forget how you spent this day 5 years ago.
That's right, because it's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. She's in Bossier City today, but all her friends are watching, so they're calling her right now. But
and
yeah,
you were living in, your mother was living in Pontchartrain Park.
She was, and I was living in New Jersey, but I was down here visiting her for her birthday. And today's the day we drove her out of the city.
You had a nice column in the Picayune today, in the editorial page. Right now, you've been back and forth and watched the recovery in New Orleans from an insider's outsider view. I mean, is it as much as you had hoped?
Part of the message I want to carry is, as you know, you're in the echo chamber of New Orleans, and I know sometimes with everything going on, you don't know how you're being perceived. But the story of the Gulf Coast and New Orleans is one of resilience. When people in this country look, they're looking down at a place that certainly has a long way to go. But you really are, you know, you met your goal. We met our goal of not just coming back, but coming back stronger, different
and taking
stronger.
hit after hit after hit, including this latest one, the oil spill.
That's right. That's right. But coming back every time and realizing that we're not going anywhere and we're going to be here and we're going to make it better than it was before.
What are the lessons learned from Katrina, from your standpoint?
Well, you know, I spoke a little bit about that in the op-ed. For me, because of my passion for the environment, I believe we have a couple of lessons. One is that there's more of the public, the general public is aware of the importance of our wetlands from the standpoint of protection, the standpoint of what wetlands do for our water quality, the importance of what we used to think of as just the swamp, and the fight for coastal restoration, which has reached all the way to President Obama and in his White House Oval Office.
And as bad as the oil spill has been, as much trouble as it has caused, as much environmental damage as it has done, there are some people in the environmental world who believe that because of the oil spill, if there is any silver lining, it probably will force the federal government to pump more money faster into restoring the wetlands. Do you believe that?
Well, the President said that he wants a coastal restoration plan that includes making the wetlands stronger and more resilient, that includes a nod towards the importance of the economic and environmental quality and need for a strong Gulf of Mexico and strong wetlands. So yeah, I believe it refocuses our attention. I believe the President's made it clear he thinks that making the environment and specifically making the wetlands stronger is one of his priorities, and we're all waiting for Secretary Ray Mavis's restoration report to the President.
And we want to find out, we're all waiting to know more about the health of the Gulf right now. We get conflicting reports. Most of the oil is gone. No, there are huge plumes of oil there. What is your opinion of where we stand right now as far as the health of the Gulf?
Is 75% of the oil gone?
Well, I think gone it's not on the surface, right? We know how much we skimmed, we know how much we burned, we know how much evaporated, or we can make some estimates about evaporation. That leaves an amount. Now, scientists are going to argue about how much there is in the subsea, and then the most important question, what happened to it? What damage did it do in the minutes when it was released, and what damage is it doing now? And those are very different questions.
And in hindsight, were dispersants the right way to go?
Well, you know, that was a tough decision for me, and I think dispersants helped us avoid many more tens of thousands of gallons of oil that would have washed up in more of a sheet-like fashion into our marshes. And I think that would have been a result. That will probably be some of the hardest recovery.
So in your opinion, it was the lesser of two evils?
It really was, which is what I said at the time. This was never without cause in the deep sea, but it was the lesser of the evil of having all that oil in our marshes, in our estuaries. Going
forward, how are you going to be sampling the Gulf water to make sure that our seafood is safe?
Yeah, and what the President's been clear about is that we owe the people of the Gulf a continued amount of monitoring and attention down here. So over the next weeks, you'll see the federal government stand up a very robust monitoring system. There's already monitoring going on now. Academics are monitoring, but we'll also have BP doing sort of a snapshot monitor of what's going on in the water, near shore and deep sea. The idea is to just give people data. The only thing that's going to finally put people's minds to a better place is to see the facts for themselves, not to have anybody else speculate about, estimate whether it's 50% or 75%. What's really out there and what is it doing?
All right, Lisa Jackson, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us.